Hello everyone, my name is Helen Kezia Nofitri Siahaan, or you guys can call me Eza. My NNM is 2023-32035. Today, I will present our research about the development of a web-based geographic geolocation and crowdsourcing application in geographic information system. In this presentation, I will explain why this topic is important, the research methods used, and the main findings from several journals, and also future opportunities for the development. First of all, we have the background in here. Before discussing the research, I want to explain why this topic is important. Today, transportation systems are becoming more advanced, but road-related problems still happen very often. For example, damaged roads, flooding, traffic congestion, and accident can affect safety and mobility. The challenge is that traditional road monitoring usually depends on manual inspections, and this process takes time, costs more resources, and sometimes the data is not updated quickly. The challenge is that the traditional road monitoring usually depends on manual inspection, and this process takes time, costs more resources, and sometimes the data is not updated quickly. Because of that, many researchers are now combining this technology with artificial intelligence sensors and spatial analysis to create smarter monitoring systems that can provide real-time information. So, this research focuses on how technology can help solve real-world infrastructure problems. Then we will go to the research question. Based on the background, this study focuses on three main questions. The first question, how can GIS help monitor road condition? The second, how can the integration of AI and GIS improve analysis accuracy? And the last but not the least, the third question, what challenges appear when implementing smart road monitoring system in real situation? This question become the foundation of this research. Then the research objectivities. The objectivities of the study are quite clear. First, we want to identify how GIS is used in road and infrastructure monitoring. Second, we want to analyze what technologies are commonly used in recent studies. Third, we compare several journals to understand which approach give better results. And finally, we want to identify opportunities for future system development. For the research methodology for we use the systematic literature review or SLR method. This means we did not build a system directly, but instead we collected and analyzed scientific journals related to the topic. The process started by selecting the research topic, then collecting recent international journals, selecting relevant studies, and analyzing the methods and results. And then finally combining all findings into one conclusion. The keyword we used included GIS, spatial analysis, smart infrastructure, disaster management, and geospatial technology. This method helped us get a broader understanding from multiple research sources. Then we have the journal characteristic. From the selected journal, most of them were published between 2022 until 2026, I'm sorry, which means the data is still relevant and up to date. The data sources are also quite diverse, including satellite imagery sensor data, field survey, and crowdsourced information from communities. The studies mainly focusing on GIS application, geospatial analysis, and infrastructure monitoring, and most of the case studies were conducted in urban areas, transportation system, and disaster-prone regions. This show that GIS is being used in many practical situations. Then we have the analysis based on research topic. After analyzing the journals, we found three main research themes. The first is disaster management. In these areas, this is used to identify disaster risk location, evacuation routes, and emergency response planning. The second is smart infrastructure. Here, this helps monitor roads, buildings, and public facilities more efficiently. And the third is urban planning. This supports city planning by analyzing spatial distribution, population patterns, and facility placement. So GIS is not only about maps, but also about decision making. Then the analysis based on research method. The journal also used several research methods. One common method is spatial analysis, which is help identify patterns based on geographic location. Then another method is overlay analysis, where multiple layers of geographic data are combined. There is also buffer analysis, which help measure influence areas with a certain distance, and many recent studies as use machine learning to predict road condition or classify infrastructure problems automatically. This combination makes the analysis more accurate and intelligent. I'm sorry, let me see. Okay. And then we come the analysis based on data source. One important finding is related to data source. Researchers are satellite data, GPS tracking, sensor data, survey data, and historical spatial records. What we found is that the more varied the data source are, the better the analysis accuracy becomes. This happens because each type of data provide different perspective, and combining them create more reliable results. Then we have the technologies used. There are several technologies commonly used in these studies. The first is GIS, which is the core technology for mapping and spatial analysis. Second is remote sensing, which helps collect geographic data from satellites and aerial system. Then the third is machine learning, which supports prediction and automatic classification. Fourth is cloud computing, which helps store and process large amounts of data. And finally, dashboard system are used to visualize results in user-friendly way. Together, these technologies create smarter monitoring system. Then, comparison between studies. When comparing the journals, we'll look at several aspects such as methods, data types, study location, and outputs. Most studies that combine spatial data with AI produce better performance compared to traditional methods. The outputs are usually digital maps, prediction models, dashboards, or real-time monitoring system. So, integration between GIS and AI seems to be the most effective approach. And then the research findings here, based on our journal analysis, we found several important results. First, this is very effective for location analysis and spatial visualization. Second, AI significantly improved prediction accuracy. Third, real-time data supports faster decision making, especially in emergencies or infrastructure monitoring. And lastly, digital systems make field monitoring much easier and more efficient. Then the implementation challenge. Even though the results are promising, there are still several challenges in here. The first challenge is data availability because not all regions have complete geographic data. The second challenge is system integration because combining multiple platforms can be technically complex. Third, infrastructure costs can be quite high. And finally, field validation is still necessary to ensure that the system output matches the real world condition. So technology alone is not enough. Validation is still important. And then the future development opportunity. For future development, there are many opportunities. This system can be integrated into web platform, mobile application, and real-time notification system. They can be connected with smart city concepts. This means governments or organizations can monitor road condition faster, make better decisions, and improve public safety. Then we come the conclusion in here. The conclude just plays an important role in spatial analysis, infrastructure monitoring, and data-driven decision making. The integration of this with AI, sensors, and real-time data create more efficient and accurate monitoring system. Although there are still challenges, the future potential of this technology is very promising. In here, I already put the reference, and for the closing, that is all for my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention. I will be happy to answer any question if you guys have any question in here. Thank you guys for watching.